When it's in the earth signs, it's more matter of fact. It's not. It can be tactile, very sensual, very sensitive, but it's more physical than emotional. So the earth signs aren't irrational. They're practical. They're down to earth. I want this. I like this. I don't like this. Capricorn, I don't like that music. We're not playing that. Or I gotta have the house. I gotta have this. So Virgo's got to improve this. Got to improve that. So no more fussy. Taurus is just blatant. I like this. I don't like this. But they're all very tactile, physical. It's not that it's not sensitive. They want earthy, tactile, practical things. They want to accumulate things. They have a tendency to accumulate things, and they have to learn across a lifetime. Well, some do, some don't, about sharing, about giving, about not always having to get. But they're driving. Capricorn's driving for things you want. Capricorn's holding on to the things it wants. They got to have these things, and the Virgo's always trying to improve the things that has to make it better. They're nice qualities, but it's practical. They know, they have an instinct about money and how to get it. I mean, the Venus in the water signs can be very trustworthy, can be very sensitive to business and financial things, but these are the ones that are matter of fact. This is worth this. This is not worth this. I want that. Actually, I like this. I don't like it. But you don't expect their emotion to be gushy about their emotions. So they might find someone they're very satisfied with, and it's very physically practical, but the other person may want more emotions, and they don't want to give more emotions. It's okay for what it is. So this way of thinking, this way of just coming around it, each time I would do this class, I'll have different examples. I'll remember it differently. I'll think about it differently. I'm just pulling up what I can now to pass over to you, so that you can make sense of it your own way. And don't be afraid of taking it, oh, look at this, and seeing it and following it deeper. That's why these worksheets give you a chance. You're not going to, once you get used to it, you start to remember, well, each category, do I have this? And you may not see it right now. So imagine it back when you're 20, imagine it back when you're 15, imagine it back when you're 8 or 7, just starting school, imagine it when you're at home, imagine it at different ages, and out of there somewhere you're going to say, oh, there that is. You'll have seen it at some different age time in your group. And you may see how it changed from one to the other. But sometimes you can't see it for right now. Sometimes you see it very clearly. So there's a work in tuning in. It's like when you meet someone, first you might say hi, you may shake hands. It takes a while before you hug someone. It takes a while to know the intimate things of sharing and being glad to come in. And the same thing with the chart. It takes time to go into these things to see this. And to talk about it too quickly is insulting. It's not sensitive. So on a scale to 1 to 100, how content and satisfied are you now with your life? And how far different is that number than the number you gave yourself when you were born, or how beautiful you think you are? How content are you? Do you have what you want? Boy, if you don't, it's churning inside you. How do I get what I want? Or I'll never get what I want. Same thing. So they're not. This is what a feminine planet is about. You can't. You're called feminine because there's no clear definition. You can't just say it's just this or define it. It's easier to talk specifically about Mercury or Mars or Saturn, but the Moon and Venus, they're puzzles, and we all experience them slightly differently. But they're not rational things. They don't have quick edges or dimensions. They're qualities that love us. So the sign that affects it is incredibly significant. Most astrology looks at the planets in the houses and then puts everything according to that. But this is where I'm working to make sure you do the houses different than the signs, which we will do. Okay, when we get to the rulerships of each sign, whenever Venus is a sign, you're going to see the rulership is what it wants. It wants to bring the best qualities of that rulership, and when it doesn't get what it wants, it's going to have the negative qualities of that rulership, or it'll act out more detrimentally. So when Venus is in the sign it rules, it's in a place it's most comfortable with, it's most natural and able to get what it wants. When it's in other signs, the ones opposite rule, the things it wants tend to get spoiled and not be there. Not so easy to get. Hence, if you don't get what you want, it's easy to be sarcastic or judgmental or scowly or nasty because you're not getting what you want. What's fair? You know, I've seen it in some ways, somebody's kid dies. And it's a hugely sad thing. But then they can't accept it. And whenever they see someone else with their kid, they're mad. Why should it be? Why should they have it? And I didn't get my kid. Mine got taken away. How can you have it? And that's a block to one's spiritual growth. But it's emotional complex that one has to work through. These are where you get healing ideas of how can you see when somebody's not, you don't see often, when someone's living it properly, you look at it and you go, oh, wow, look what they're doing. That's better than I would have imagined. But when someone's not, you say, oh boy, how come they're stuck? And you go through these categories and you start saying, oh, they got that, I can see that. How come they're not doing this? Their complex can be based on any one of these categories, and all the other can be, but one of those categories, a piece is missing. And they've got to learn how to develop that. So when they get into things like astrodrama, like psychodrama, astrodrama, you learn to play out the parts that develop the experiences to grow through something you have a block about. This is a huge, well, it's an area that's growing in astrology, but it's its own sort of area, but incredibly useful in terms of therapy. Oh, okay, so when Venus, okay, we'll just do it like we did. We'll go through the signs. From when Venus is in Cancer, it's ruled by the moon. I love my mom. I want my home. I want to be a mother. I want to have a home. I want to be kind. I want to be nurturing. Here, I made you a pie. Please have a pie. You don't like pie? Oh, here, I have a cake too. Here, oh, have another piece, please. Have a drink. Have another drink. I want to please you. I want you to feel secure in my place, but don't ask me to go out. I want to be, let's get together in my place. Have a party in my place. The Venus in Cancer is very sensuous, but it's ruled by the feelings. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. And because it's ruled by the feelings, it's tied into the appetites and how much you're eating. It would probably have a sweet tooth, have all the nice desserts and nice things, but by having all the sweet tooth, one of the funny things about Venus and about beauty, the more beauty you have all the beautiful things, you're partying, you're meeting the nice people, and everywhere you meet there's sweets, there's good things, there's nice drinks, and by the time you enjoy the nice things for being in a nice place, you end up putting on 10 pounds, 20 pounds, and suddenly you're fatter and not as beautiful as you were. This is Venus complex. You know, if I can't have the love, I'll have the chocolate or the drink or the sweets or whatever. Or if I'm having the love, well, why not have the sweets too? So in the Cancer, it's tied into the domestic things, feeling secure, the attitude of home, security, feelings, and that personal nature, personalized touch. It's going to magnify how personally you take things. And you're going to want to show people personal things. You might, anything to do with the moon tends to be a good direction for it, but they might collect things. You might want to be a chef. You might want to have the home. Certainly, you want to be close to mom. But if it's negative, I never want to be around mom. I'll never be the same as my mom, and then you end up being exactly the same as your mom in a different way. So where Venus is, it always is the guiding thing. If someone has a Venus in Cancer, how do you get along with your mom? Where are you living? What's secure? Do you have a family? Do you have a home? Like all of these things become the personal concerns around which they're evaluating. What they're most, I mean, you can have all the other things, but you're really going to make the best choices around family and home and what's secure. So if you meet someone and you're together with someone, they're not staying home, they're out all the time, you're going to be at home worrying about where are they? We got it nice here, why do you want us to go somewhere else? Okay, when it's in Leo, it's a fire sign, it's not a water sign, that's the water sign to the moon. When it's in Leo, it's the confidence. I like something, I want something, why not get it? I'll be confident if I have it. And they're wanting to show, you want to be proud about the things you like. And you want to be noticed or recognized for it. You want to have noble things that you like. A lot of teachers would have that. I want to show people things. I want to show people what I'm worth and help them. So this has, every planet has its good side and its bad side. So when you see someone, they're working with it well, you got something to learn. When you see someone, they're caught in a negative thing and they're not proud about what they're doing something they don't like, they got their Venus in Leo, this is not tolerable. That intolerable Venus will create negative thought patterns which affect negative lifestyle patterns which make someone chronically depressed and can make you very sick or very unhappy. And then the psychologist will say, well, just take some of that, take some antidepressants for the next 20 years and then we'll solve it. And it doesn't, it just holds you at the same level in that complex without solving it. So, I mean, psychology without astrology is probably dangerous guesswork. It's manipulating behavior, relationships, and behavioralism according to social standards of being harmonious members in society, but not doing anything to fit to who you're supposed to be for yourself.